We're starting to get tidbits of information from the article of Total Film, which is releasing on November the 10th, and in this video I want to focus on some of the quotes made by Stephen Lang about his character in The Way of Water. Avatar Theory here, hope you're doing well and having a fantastic day, and before I continue I just want to say a massive thanks to each and every person that's been supporting my channel over the past few weeks. And don't forget, I am giving away the Art of Avatar 2, and you can enter that competition by following the pinned comment right below. Now this information does come from /film.com, and the article was written by Ernesto, and you can find a link to this article in the pinned comment below, but basically I want to read through the article and just give my own thoughts and opinions afterwards. As the article starts, quote, Avatar The Way of Water is finally nearing its release this December after a nearly 12-year wait since the original film's release. As was the case for the original Avatar film, James Cameron took his time with the project, developing new technology to make the sequel the way he wanted. With new underwater worlds and creatures to explore, The Way of Water is sure to set itself apart from its predecessor with a plethora of new visuals. Aside from the new environments and technology, the Avatar sequel explores interesting new story points with characters who seemingly met their fate in the original film. One such character is the antagonist of the first Avatar, Colonel Quaritch or Stephen Lang. Quaritch was an aggressive military leader who drove the Na'vi off their land to mine the rare unobtainium mineral. It took the combined efforts of Jake and Neytiri to put an end to Quaritch's wrath, and while they killed the human version of Stephen Lang's character, it seems the Colonel will make his return in the form of a Na'vi avatar body. Given Quaritch's distaste for the Na'vi and their culture, becoming one of them is sure to make the character's arc interesting in The Way of Water. In an interview from the Avatar The Way of Water cover feature for the December 2022 issue of Total Film on sale November the 10th, Stephen Lang talked about his new character's precarious situation. Given that the original version of Quaritch perished in the first film, the one we see in The Way of Water is known as a recombinant, an avatar with all the old memories of Lang's character. Now given a physical advantage that allows the character to keep up with Jake and the other Na'vi, Lang says his character now has to deal with all the implications of coming back from the dead. Quote, obviously someone within the structure of RDA has thought that the concept of a Na'vi Marine is not a bad idea for a fighting machine, but of course it puts him in a somewhat peculiar position because he was dead and now he's been reconstituted. The question for him is, who is he? What is he? There are wearing forces going on within him. End quote. Lang's character in the original Avatar was an archetypical military villain serving a bloodthirsty industrial complex. This new development for the character will surely add more interesting layers to him. The experience of becoming a Na'vi has been shown to impact those with avatars in the original film significantly, and Quaritch is no exception. In the same interview, Lang spoke about how Quaritch believes he's in control of the situation, despite embracing the tradition and weapons of the Na'vi, seeing the culture and ways of the alien race as a means to an end. Quote, the Na'vi way starts to become his way. He begins to move much more like a Na'vi, and he begins to adopt their weapons and their mode of travel. From his point of view, he's adjusting his methods to fight the enemy, but what you find on Pandora is the planet operates on you. Awa will have its way. That's very true of Quaritch, but he still thinks he's the master of the situation. End quote. Lang implies that Quaritch's new body comes with unintentional consequences that may cause the character to change allegiances, similar to Sam Worthington's character, Jake's arc in the original film. Worthington had its own comments about the development, seeing it as the perfect way to add tension to the film, stating, quote, I love the idea that Quaritch is now a Na'vi, and he is going to have his own conflicts and his own eyes opened, just like what Jake went through. That raises the stakes completely, end quote. However, Quaritch's new avatar body affects the main story of Avatar The Way of Water. The 3-hour sequel seems to be an improvement over the film on every level. Not only are the film's visuals an upgrade from the first, but the once one-dimensional characters and motives of the original movie are being questioned. Stephen Lang has been given a lot more to work with this time, making Quaritch's arc one of the many things to look forward to in the sequel, end quote. So as you can see, or as you can hear, there is quite a bit to take away from just these two statements of Stephen Lang, and one thing I want to point out is in a video that I made quite a bit ago, I speculated or I theorized that Stephen Lang's character Quaritch, his RECOM version, might possibly possibly become a good guy down the line. Now, he will not become the hero of the story, but because he is a RECOM, he will connect to Pandora in a different way, see things differently, feel things differently. And a movie that kind of came to mind when I was reading through this article was Megamind. I don't know if you've seen Megamind, that animated movie, quite a while ago, but essentially it's about this bad guy who wins the fight over the good guy after trying multiple times, and he basically falls in love with the girl, starts to see things differently, and realizes that he doesn't want to be the bad guy anymore. And once that happened, he eventually had to fight another bad guy who he was once allies with earlier in the movie. Now, the point that I want to take away from that movie is the fact that eventually the bad guy began to see things differently and didn't want to be the villain of the story anymore. And I can see Quaritch going through the same arc. They say that Quaritch will move like the Na'vi and begin to adopt their weapons and their modes of travel, so we will likely no doubt see Quaritch use banshees and all sorts of animals in Pandora. And the part where Quaritch says that the Na'vi way starts to become his way is also a very interesting statement. Sam Worthington also says that Quaritch will have his own conflicts and his own eyes opened, just like what Jake went through. Also gives me the indication that Quaritch will eventually change his allegiances. As we know that Jake's intentions was never really to side with the Na'vi, and Quaritch being able to now connect with Pandora would possibly make him see things differently, and as such we might see a side of Quaritch that we've never seen before. But with this Total Film magazine issue dropping November the 10th, there's likely going to be a ton more information of the Way of Water coming out of this magazine, so be sure to click the subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with everything Avatar related. But what do you think about this part of the article? Do you think that Quaritch will eventually go against the RDA? Let me know in the comments below, and for more Avatar content, have a look at the rest of my channel. Until next time, have a fantastic day and stay safe.